After all, we want what we want, and if we don't get it, we can be upset. But not everything we want is what we need. Discipline is being able to say no to what we want and saying yes to what we need. Can you imagine a world where you got every single thing you wanted? Some might think that scenario would be amazing, but I encourage you to think harder. There are some things we have wanted that God said no to because He knew that those things would hurt us and or hold us back from the goals He has set for us. God protects us from danger seen and unseen. God disciplines us because He loves us. He wants us to stay on the right path so that we can one day see His kingdom. The first verses I'm going to read is Hebrews, the 12th chapter, verses 4 through 11. Hebrews, the 12th chapter, verses 4 through 11. And it reads, You have not yet struggled to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin, and you have forgotten the divine word of encouragement which is addressed to you as sons. My son, do not make light of the discipline of the Lord, and do not lose heart and give up when you are corrected by Him. For the Lord disciplines and corrects those whom He loves, and He punishes every son whom He receives and welcomes to His heart. You must submit to correction for the purpose of discipline. God is dealing with you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? Now, if you are exempt from correction and without discipline, in which all of God's children share, then you are illegitimate children and not sons at all. Moreover, we have had earthly fathers who disciplined us, and we submitted and respected them for training us. Shall we not much more willingly submit to the Father of spirits and live by learning from His discipline? For our earthly fathers disciplined us for only a short time and seemed best to them. But He disciplines us for our good, so that we may share His holiness. For the time being, no discipline brings joy, but seems sad and painful. Yet to those who have been trained by it, afterwards it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness, right standing with God, and a lifestyle and attitude that seeks conformity to God's will and purpose. Discipline comes from all areas of our lives, but the main ones are from God, our parents, and ourselves. Today I want to focus on self-discipline. Self-discipline is defined as the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. It is written, Whoever loves instruction and discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof and correction is stupid. Proverbs 12:1. It takes a lot to say no to some of the things we want because we know that they aren't good for us mentally, physically, or spiritually, which is why the enemy's favorite tactic is temptation. Starting off from the beginning of the word, the enemy, the serpent, tempted Eve with the fruit of the tree of knowledge and tricked her into thinking it wouldn't cause her and Adam to surely die. The enemy even tried to tempt Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And the thing is, when the temptation doesn't work, the enemy switches to using the tactic of fear. Since he can't get you to join him, he tries to bully you into submission. But God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of peace, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. And He will not allow us to be tempted beyond what we can bear. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Amen. Fear is a lie. Since we know that God will not give us the spirit of fear, we should know that fear comes from the enemy. So why do we so willingly give in to fear? Fear clouds our senses. Think of it as drowning. When someone is drowning, they often panic. They begin to kick and thrash around, and they can't think straight. All they can focus on is the water all around them and the breath that their lungs can't catch. So the enemy uses fear to try to drown your faith. He wants to completely kill off your faith. And if that doesn't work, he resorts to setting traps for you. Do you remember those cartoons where one character would dig a hole in the ground and put branches and leaves over the hole so they could look like it was solid ground still, so that the other character would walk across and fall in? The enemy tries to disguise his traps. He disguises them as things you want. He disguises them to lure you in so you'll fall. But thank God that even when we fall down, we can get back up again because we serve a God who sent His only begotten Son to lay down His life for us. But He didn't stop there. He got back up again so that we have the power to get back up again. The enemy doesn't want us to think that we can get back up again because he doesn't want us to get back up. The enemy wants us to think that we have to give in at some point. He will try to rationalize sin. He will try to have you thinking other people are doing it, so why shouldn't I? You weren't made to be like other people. You're of a royal priesthood. You are set apart from others. You are not meant to walk the same path that everyone else walks. Amen. When I was taking my notes, I wasn't really planning on going in this direction, but the Lord steered me into this direction. Because I think that God wants me to let y'all know that saints, you need to recognize the tactics of the enemy so you don't fall for his traps. Football teams will study their rivals' plays so they can see how to avoid getting messed up by some of the plays and how they can outdo them with their own plays. The enemy has been studying this. He desires to sift us as wheat. It's time we flip the script on the enemy. It's time we learn to recognize his tactics. We trip him up by praising God. We trip him up by reading the word. We trip him up by building our faith in God. It's time to trip the enemy up. Goliath must fall. Take up your slingshot, saints. It may not seem like much. I may not look like much. I'm not perfect. And Goliath may be bigger than me. But Goliath is not bigger than my God. The gate of the righteous is narrow. The gate of the wicked is broad. Choose this day which gate you want to walk through. Being on the path of righteousness requires discipline. You can't do the same things, go to the same places, or act the same way you used to. Righteousness requires discipline. Discipline requires sacrifice, and sacrifice requires surrender. A quote that I saw said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Wow. That was what the Abraham Lincoln had said. Wow. And this quote to me means that discipline is being willing to sacrifice the wants of now for the greater things ahead. Right. Consider investing in your future. The more you invest, the more interest is acquired and the more you'll get back. Amen. You've been raised, I'm going to read this verse. This is 1 Timothy 4:6-10. You've been raised on the message of the faith and have followed sound teaching. Now pass on this counsel to the followers of Jesus there, and you'll be a good servant of Jesus. Stay clear of silly stories that get dressed up as religion. Exercise daily in God. No spiritual flabbiness, please. Workouts in the gymnasium are useful, but a disciplined life in God is far more so. I'll say that again. Workouts in the gymnasium are useful, but a disciplined life in God is far more so. They need to go fit today and forever. You can count on this. Take it to heart. This is why we've thrown ourselves into this venture so totally. We're banking on the living God, Savior of all men and women, especially believers. And then the last thing I want to end with is this other quote that I saw. I'm not sure who this one is by, but I like it. It says, self-discipline. The road may be hard, but the results are priceless. A relationship with God is priceless. You can't buy your way into heaven. Continue to run the race and fight the good fight of faith. I pray that we all learn to practice a little more self-discipline. I pray that we all learn to sacrifice a bit more. And I pray we all learn to surrender fully to God. Because remember, righteousness requires discipline. Discipline requires sacrifice. And sacrifice requires surrender. Amen. Thank the Lord for that word. Amen. Let me give Vic another round. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us here today. Please help me to speak your word and let it be a blessing. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, saints. Today I'll be coming out of 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, verses 8-17. 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, verses 8-17. And the title of my lesson is Don't Forget What You Walk By. And I'll be reading off the NIV version. So starting at verse 8, 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, and starting at verse 8. Now the king of Aram at war with Israel. After conferring with his officers, he said, I will set up my camp in such and such a place. The man of God sent word to the king of Israel, beware of passing that place, because the Arameans are going down there. And if I'm saying the name wrong, I'm sorry. I tried to look it up on how to say it though. So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. Time and time again, Elisha warned the king so that he was on his guard in such places. This enraged the king of Aram. He summoned his officers and demanded of them, tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel? None of us, my lord, the king, said one of his officers. But Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom. Go find out where he is, the king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. The report came back. He is in Dothan. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord, what shall we do? The servant asked. Don't be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Elisha prayed, open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. So I'm going to stop right there. And as we know, the story ends up ending with, well, if you don't go to, the story ends with the servant sin. So he got the sight that he needed to see that there was more with them. And then the enemy, the Arameans or Arameans, or however we say it, they ended up being blinded. And Elisha ended up leading them all the way into Samaria. And then they got their vision back. And then everything was fine. The king asked if he should kill them, but Elisha said, no, you ain't gonna kill these people. Like, he said, you didn't even capture them. You didn't do nothing. It was God that did this, so you gotta let him work in this. And then they said that they didn't raid their territory anymore. So, starting from the beginning, how Elisha was able to warn the king of Israel several times that, okay, the king of Aram was going to have all his people set up here, and then here, and there. He kept always giving them warnings, and I hadn't even thought of the word of God. We have warnings in there. We got warnings with this virus going on now. They're trying to take precautions to take that they think will keep you safer and will keep you from being another number also on the death, unfortunately. And so God used Elisha to warn the king. By his grace he did that. He didn't have to do it. We don't deserve a warning a lot of times. But God used his grace to warn us. And he warned also other people in the Bible. As you know, he warned Noah that a flood was coming. He warned the Israelites. He warned many others in the Bible. And God can reveal anything to us. Now, we don't get every detail sometimes that we want, but he can reveal bits and pieces. And that may be through a dream, through someone else speaking to you, or through you reading your word also and spending time with God. But the thing is, we get the bits and pieces, but you have to apply faith to those things. And if you don't apply faith, then it's nothing really to you. It's not really turning into something like God wants it to. It's up to us to apply our faith to what God speaks to us, no matter what the form of it may be. If we don't let our faith in God be our foundation, we have a greater chance of becoming discouraged and letting God's will for our lives get put on pause, like a movie we never finished watching. And never will, because we didn't like the movie a lot of times. With all of it, it never came back on. So that's not a life that we want to live, of basically missing out on what God has in store for us, because he's the one that created us. He has the purpose for us. He has the greatest will in store for us and everything else. So it's important that we apply that faith as our foundation, because when you do, then you are walking by faith. And the reason I had came to talk about this today some too is because a lot of times in the world now, even as this virus is going on, or separately in our own homes, you may have trials and tribulations that come that challenge what you walk by. And you end up sometimes walking by your feelings, walking by circumstances, walking will see you. And it's important that we choose to walk by faith no matter what we face in life. So, even though Elisha's servant had witnessed many miraculous ways that God had worked, he still was terrified after waking up to being surrounded by Aram. Now, for us, we may not wake up surrounded by people, hopefully, because that's, they get caught 911. But we have woken up that they're surrounded by problems. Just like Elisha's servant didn't see a way out of this situation, we may not see the way out of many things we face. But just because we don't see a way doesn't mean that there isn't a way. Jesus himself said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. As long as you follow Jesus, you have a way. You're going in the right direction that you need to go in. So we know when we follow Jesus, we follow victory because Jesus won complete victory over this world, death, hell, and the grave. So Elijah prayed for his servant's eyes to be open. And I think today, now, and just every day in general, we always need to pray for our eyes to be open so we don't miss out, because from the whole scripture, it seemed like the servant really wasn't seeing. And faith is what really helps you to see how you need to see in this world, in this life. So, don't let your circumstances, your feelings, people, hurt, sickness, fear, or anything else make you forget what you walk by. Because that's exactly what the enemy wants you to forget. The devil wanted Jesus to forget what he walked by as he lived out his life before he died for our sins. And Jesus was surrounded by people that hated him from the beginning and people that acted like they loved him at the time. As he let himself be betrayed by Judas, as they crucified him, as they beat him, as they mocked him, as they put a crown of thorns on his head, and nailed to a cross on a hill. It looked like he was alone. It looked like he was defeated. But it was still more that was with him. And more is still with us today than it looks like. So no matter how you feel, you have the victory. Just like Jesus won it for us, it's still today. That win is still present today, no matter how it looks and how it seems. So even if you look surrounded, and even if you feel defeated, keep walking by faith. God gave Elisha and his servant victory. God gave Jesus victory, so God will give us victory today and forever. Amen.